I'm muted. Your mic. Can't hear you. I've been talking this whole time. Such a noob. Goodness gracious. Get out of here. All right. Enough of that. Show's over, kids. Let's go home. It's been a week. So that's what I was saying. So we are now. Can you hear the audio now? Give it a second. Give it a second. Give it a second. 1 second. Give it a second. I turned it on and it. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Is it still not working? Oh my gosh, what is happening? No, we should be good. Give me a thumb. Can you hear me? Test, test, test. Yep, we're good. Yep. Okay. Alrighty, it's been a week. As the first 6 minutes of the show is already gone. I have a big announcement. It was it was so big I had to mute myself because it's so awesome. So first and foremost, number one is that I'm even knocking so excited. even knocking my mic around. So first thing is that we passed our quarter mark. We are officially 1 quarter funded. Mind blowing, absolutely exciting in terms of the support shown our way. For those that are here, if you could send out an email, send out a text to a friend, a family that you think would be, so this is the first thing I need everybody to do. Send out a text or a friend or a family and say, hey, we're live. We're going live in terms of, and talk about the last colony, a few other things. And I have a big announcement. So that was the first thing to do. So go ahead and do that first and foremost. The second thing is that we are, like I said, 1/4 funded, which is right on target with where we really, really need to be to ultimately get to our mark. That's not the big news, though. That's not the big announcement, even though that's exciting piece of information. One thing is that, like I said, this week's been a bit of a wild week, and one of the things is that I'm actually working on another project, and goodness gracious, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it, but I'm really itching to be full throttle on the last colony. And this last tomorrow really will be the final date that I'm done with that other project that's going off to whoever it needs to go to. And that one, we'll see at some point in time if we can ultimately do something like this. But in any case, so that one's going off my desk. Yay! And the next thing is that I'll be able to do, again, like I said, be able to go full time on this particular this project, the last colony, and get that all finished. I was able to finish up some pages in terms of inking, but I hesitate to show you more, even though, and you're like, oh, where is it? We need to see it. So it'll come with my big announcement. So one of the things is that, I know I'm not trying to make suspense or lead into it, but anyway, it'll make sense here in a second. So one of the things is that because I want to share the story. I want it to be a surprise when you open it up and you look at it for the first time, all that sort of stuff. And I like that entire idea. So the other thing is that I've been moving. So on ElijahLoving.com, I've been trying in the process of posting a lot of my content there on the blog part of the page, and just posting anything that is going on any of the other social medias. A lot of times it's going to be posted there. And one of the big things is that I kind of almost envision that as our individual, where you guys have complete access to, where I'll just be getting more of the habit of posting either the videos, any of the education side, which is something I'm definitely interested, any of the, let me just say it this way. It's one of the, how do I say it? It's my Patreon sort of thing, if you will. Instead of doing it on Patreon, that is my Patreon, if you will, feed. Lack of a better word of explaining it. And I want it to be free and open to everybody that is willing to have a view of it and absorb it and all that sort of stuff. Again, being at ElijahLoving.com. And yeah, and then you can just be able to hit there's a blog button at the top. When you go there, we want to be able to add comments. We'll be able to do that in the future, all that sort of stuff. And ultimately, with the big scope of things to, again, that this entire thing is about, is really about supporting the artist directly and finding ways to support that artist directly, which is what our vision of our website to be ultimately. And that's kind of the main piece behind it. So a lot of anything that we post on Minds, Instagram, all that stuff is going to be really housed at that blog. Yes, it'll go to those others. If you like viewing it at those others, that's fine. No big deal. But this is really again, lack of a better term, the brick and mortar. Okay. So that was one thing. Like I said, we were able to get a couple pages inked this week. So we've been moving ahead on that with the last colony. So that's good. That's all on a really good pace. And then the other thing is that I was able to just kind of, there's a slight off subject sort of a thing. I was able to watch, was it Love, Death, and Robots on the Netflix thing? Yeah, it's that's my review. I don't know that. I don't know if you guys like the first one or even seen the first one or any of that sort of stuff. It was, and then certainly I think Army of the Dead comes out. I don't know. I'm so skeptical on some of these things. We've been just so. It's sad because movie making, entertainment, and a lot of those type of things have been kind of snoozes as of late, and it is disappointing. And I don't know. We're going to make it better. And I guess that's the only other thing that I can say is that we're ultimately going to make it better. You, us, we're going to make our own stories. We're going to make our own IPs. And, we're just, like I said, we're going to make our own stuff and do our best to make it awesome and have a lot of fun doing it until go back to the roots of storytelling, where stories came from and not just pushing agenda, but tell meaningful stories that empower, excite, energize, all those types of things, or just flat out just take us to another fantasy land, escape and be able to, I don't know, I like with Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, absolutely one of my favorite stories of all time. I think it's one of those stories. Yeah, you can go back to the kind of the basics of the little person overcoming, the impossible. And I think that's really cool and important, but I think it's also a really cool story about all sorts of crazy things happening, and someone had the courage to put it all down and develop a world of their own and make something new. So in any case, that's something that's really, really cool. And like I said earlier, anybody that's already on this stream, again, appreciate you here, all that type of stuff. What I want you to do is, like I said earlier, drop a phone, send a text, drop an email, something, invite others to come join our live stream and hang out, because I want to share a big announcement coming up here in a few moments. So here's the deal. One of the things that I am absolutely all about is when I first went into graduate school and got my master's in art or whatever, teaching was not on my radar. And there was a particular professor when I went to visit there and kind of tour the place and decide if this was the right place for me to go or whatever. They said, nope, you're going to teach drawing. And I was like, no, I'm not interested in that. No, thank you. And then they were like, no, you're going to teach this class. And I'm like, no, really, I don't want to. It's not something I want to do. I just want to focus in on art. No, you'll be great at teaching. You're going to be fantastic. Just wouldn't take no for an answer. And long story short, it's something that I absolutely love doing. It's just a huge discovery of doing art and illustration and all that type of stuff. And I end up going kind of down the path of abstract art and that type of thing. But then it kind of circles back ultimately to the love of stories. And I think I've told this story about my grandfather saying, oh, you should do comics. What are you doing with this abstract stuff? And he was more right than he could possibly that I could understand. He was so absolutely correct. And, a lot of times we do that with our grandparents or anyone older than us. We're just like, all right, crazy. What are you talking about? I don't need we all do that. But one of the things that I absolutely love about illustration or just art in general, is that I've always had sort of a desire when you're making this stuff of just giving it away. And obviously that's not very economically sustainable for the artist, which is sort of the philosophy of finding ways to directly support artists or create that invite of directly supporting artists. But it still doesn't take that fact away of that. I've tried to create a lot of times what I'm doing with like either Tifa Minds or Tifa Inc., our organization company with our consulting and helping out artists and that type of thing, is that we've tried to create it in a way that we're giving more than necessarily than what we're receiving, if that makes sense. And in terms of our reciprocity, if you will. And one of those things is that I absolutely love stories about doing the impossible, the education and teaching side of things. And I also like the idea of this entire idea of sharing with you guys, sharing with everybody. And that experience, regardless of how small or big we are, that we still have opportunities that we never really know the outreach that we really fully have, and just the impossibilities of that. And then one of the things, if you're subscribed to our email list, which is of course at theelijahloving.com, and then under the follow section in the top right, it's one of these things. One of the things is that in that emails that we shared a story where we're going into summer and all that type of stuff and jumping full in. I have a daughter that she was asking, when was it? A month ago, when it's still like 40 degrees out. A month ago, can we go? I want to go swimming right now. And then there's no water in the pool. Besides, I don't know if you've ever, when I was doing lifeguarding, I remember there was a weekend that maybe it's 2 weeks before we had to do our trainings and all that sort of re-ups or whatever. And I remember jumping in that water, and it was probably about 75, almost 80. And you're like, you can't breathe. It's terrible. I don't know if any of you guys have been in that situation. So one of the things about that though, is that I think she's absolutely correct. We do need to just go for it, which is the whole point of why we're doing this crowdfund. Why we're doing it on our own website, all that type of stuff. And all of that is really important, because that brings us to where we are now with the announcement. So one of the things that I wanted to do is that I don't want to give away the story by showing each of the inking that we're doing. And I do want you guys to be a part of it and experience that. But I want to hold the story, because I want that shock to be experienced with you guys. That's really the point behind it. And I want you all to get excited and experience that as well, and experience that story. And hopefully we remain true to that story that we're trying to tell. And which is certainly, we appreciate all the love and care that you guys are giving. So with that is that I thought, well, okay, so how do we go about doing this? And this is kind of in the planning stages of the book. About a few weeks into the crowdfund, one of the things that I wanted to do was do a way that, okay, I don't want to share the story or shed, spoiler alerts sort of a thing, but I do want to share something with you. How can I do that? And so one of the things is that I think what I wanted to do, and I'll do it here now and kind of get that process started, is I want to show you the entire process from beginning of concept to the end of production, and get you that whole concept, which we're going to talk about here in a second. But the other part to that is that if we get, not if, we will, and we certainly will get to that. But when we get to the 725 number, which is our crowdfunding goal, is that, let's say, for example, worst case scenario, things don't work out. It just, oh, shoot, and all this type of stuff. Don't get to our crowdfunding goal. You'll still be able to see this process. However, we won't be able to provide a way to share it with everybody, which is kind of the big announcement that I want to get to, is that we want to do it in a way, again, that brings in as many people as possible. But for everybody that ultimately helps us crowdfund this project, regardless if you've put in, a minimum of $30 all the way up to whatever the $1,000 of making your own poster, that type of thing. I still wanted to provide a way for everybody to get access to something and have something physical in their hands. I love physical art. I do look at like comics. Was it Comixology, Amazon's product? I do look at that, but it's one of these things where it's the physical copy, and having that physical thing in your hand is so awesome. So one of the things that we wanted to do is, again, we'll develop a poster with you guys, and we'll do a majority of the work, if you will, on the live streams. They'll have to do obviously some work outside of the live streams and all that type of stuff. But I want you guys to be a part of this experience. I also want it to be something where you guys are not only taking part of it, but you're throwing in your input. Hey, what'd you think about this? I want this to be a true, how do I say this? A true colony experience. We're all coming in together, and we're going to start from the very basics, which I'm going to show you that process here in a second, all the way to the end of that entire process. And I want you guys to be a part of it, which then brings us, once we get to that 725 number at the end of our campaign, or whenever that happens, but that's kind of our first major goal. And that this is why we need your help to share, to send out, to say, hey, have you heard of this comic, The Last Colony? I think you might like it. You know, it's about this crazy story that takes place in this crazy United States that's gone wild, even worse than now, if you can believe it. And it's something about how do family come together in a chaotic moment that they want no part of whatsoever, and they find a way through together. That's at the heart of it, and through this crazy thing called American Civil War II. So, and what's that look like, and that last colony, if you will? So we need your help with getting to that goal. I will certainly, and I'm already hard at work to be able to get to that goal, and currently we're on pace, which is excellent news. But once we get to that amount, what will happen is that regardless if you've funded for 30 all the way up to the top amount, you will get in the mail with your comic book a poster, comic-sized poster of this work we're going to be working on together and showing you the whole process. Okay. So from the beginning of research to all the way end of cleanup, each of the 7 steps that I use really, and take it through each of the 7 steps that you want. Once we get to that 725 number, you will get this poster as a part of, regardless of whatever you funded. And it will be, again, something we'll print off, and then we'll stick it in there, and it'll be a nice quality little poster. Some of card stock, about 121 pound, I think, is what we have selected right now. As we go up to different things, we'll get to that point. But really, that's our first major goal that we need to reach. So hope that makes sense. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to share with you a little bit of my process. Shoot, I might have to do this a different way. Could you guys hear me when I went to that? I was talking that entire time. Give me a thumbs up if you could hear me during when that other screen was up. I'm going to have to do it differently. That's okay. I can switch this up real quick. Just give me a second. Okay, so you couldn't hear me. Okay, no big deal. Let's do... I have. So one of the things that's so incredibly crucial, staying organized. There we go. We'll do it this way. Compile. Okay. I'm going to share my screen here so you can see what I'm seeing. Cool. Okay. So distracting. Oh my gosh. So process. So this is my illustration process. So essentially what we want to do, like I said, is have you guys go along with the process as we go along and figure this out and all this type of stuff and how I go about making illustrations and kind of my thought process behind it. And then with the end goal of ultimately getting to our goal with the whole project funded. And then once we get to that goal, that sets this portion, this reward. Yeah, there we go. Reward or that sort of thing or perk for everybody, you know, again, from the 30 mark on up. And you will get this poster in your package along with your comic and a few other things that's already connected to those rewards. So starting off with my process, the first thing that I do is that I go to research. This almost looks like this looks like a weird stomach here of a splash of, what is this thing? Oh my goodness. So we start off with research, and we're going to do that today. And as with the time that I have with you guys, and we'll go through a little bit of that research process. I think research is one of the most important things that when you're going into developing your artwork or story, whatever it might be, that you really dive into that research element. And I'll talk a little bit more on that in detail later here in a minute. The next part of that, after that research, is that you compile kind of, again, all your research. And this is like photos. This is like anything that would pertain to any 3D art, any 3D graphics. And I'll show you research here in a second. Anything that pertains to that, anything that goes with, what else do you got? In terms of design, you're just gathering anything that you might be using. Like in our case, we'd have guns, helicopters, maybe. And so really in your research, what you're doing is you're writing down some of these ideas. And then in the design part, you're compiling them together. Okay. Then from there, after you compile it together and you design it, you'll be designing it on like your regular, just your printer paper, nothing extravagant. It doesn't matter what pencil, pen, or whatever you end up using, as long as you're just getting down your thumbnails and those type of things. From the thumbnails, you take that, and what I end up doing is I'll put them in the computer, I'll scan them, all that type of stuff. And then I'll work with them in blue pencils type of a thing and kind of get them up to a point that it starts feeling a little bit more comfortable. Now, many artists, and as you get better, you can almost skip this step. But one of the things that I'll kind of throw this in there again as a way to share with you guys, just the entire process that you can ultimately go through. But tight pencil is just a neat way of saying you're cleaning up all your blue pencil work, all of your scribbles and those types of things. It's still readable in the blue pencil and still communicates well in terms of your composition and those types of things, but you're tightening up everything into your tight pencil. Oh, I left out, which then the next one, my slide presentation, you would go to ink. Now, one of the things that you can do in tight pencil and ink can almost go tandem with each other in terms of, because some artists, what they'll do, they won't even ink. They'll do just tight pencil and they'll bump everything up in Photoshop in terms of the levels and make everything real dark so that your pencil marks really almost look like inking. And so from there, then it's one and done type of a thing. We're going to go ahead and add ink in there with a tight pencil. Then from there, we'll go through and color that poster. And I'll show you that whole entire process from coloring that poster over these next few months. And that will go from, again, kind of doing your flats and then ultimately working on your holds, all those types of things. I'll go through all those types of terms because, again, I want to make this as an experience so others can learn from this too. This is, and again, not to say Elijah Loving has the right way and the one way to do comics. This is kind of the way I've discovered that works for me, and hopefully it'll help someone else too. And then that next part goes into any kind of special effects that we might add in terms of Photoshop's magical abilities. And then the last thing, this, I don't know about you. Does anyone feel like this graphic looks like a stomach? You got the esophagus tube here, and you got this. This is our digestion process. It's real messy. And then it gets cleaned up. Or cleaned out. a good cleanup bowel movement will always do the job. So that's kind of the process that I ultimately want to do. And we'll start off with research today with you guys, and I'll show you kind of a little bit of my research process so you have just an overall understanding of what that looks like. So let me bring up another window. So one of the sites that I use a lot is ArtStation. And ArtStation, if you haven't been there, is a really, really cool site full of a lot of, I made that a little bigger for you guys, full of a lot of absolutely amazing artists. Artists doing all sorts of really, really cool stuff. And you see here, I just did a search here as far as movie posters. And really from the research end of things, I'm just looking at kind of what's happening and what people are doing in different things. And just kind of getting, and if there are very few artists that can do this without doing this part of the process, if that makes sense. There are very, very, very few. And for the ones that tell you they're not doing this, really dive into their process, because more than likely they are doing this. But it's one of the trade secrets, I suppose, that a lot of artists actually do. So you'll go through and look at others. And I do have a bunch of tabs here at the top, as you can see, which I want to show you those here in a second. But the first thing that I do is I basically go through this, and I just click on, I hold down Command. I'm on an Apple, but if you're on a PC, hold down Control. And I basically click on anything that just intrigues me, just catches my eye. And I'm just skimming through. There's no sort of right or wrong, or you're just like, Coming to America. That looks funny. That's a great movie. Okay, moving on. Something's happening here. Okay. That's all I'm doing right now. And I will have maybe a little bit of a limit in terms of how many, we got to do him, Kim Jong-un. How many you do, you might keep it under 20 or thereabouts. And you're just really clicking on anything that, again, kind of piques your interest. I have this one already selected. So anything that you find interesting, right? Michael Jackson, more Star Wars. That's cool. Friday the 13th. Can't miss that one. And you're just, that's all you're doing. You're just kind of getting a taste of everything. I already have that one. What else we got here? And you don't need to necessarily have a sort of a rhyme or reason behind it. Just like I said, you just might even like Mad Mardigan. Where can you go? You can't go wrong with Mad Mardigan, right? Oh my gosh. Mad Mardigan. There we go. Say it. Enunciate. Let's see here. If you guys see one, point it out in the comics there. Like, ooh, you got to click on that. I have no idea. Looks scary. And again, you can like the art. Again, anything that just quickly catches the eye. That's all you're doing. Sure. I don't know. Ooh. Ooh. And you're not worried about genres here. You can deal with all that's interesting. So like I said, you know, you might go for about 20 thereabouts, whatever hits the deal. We'll throw one more in there. And basically my next step, so that's kind of my first step, is I'll just kind of see what's out there, just kind of get an idea for concepts. And the next thing I'll do is I'll go one at a time per artist that I'm looking at. And for example, like this one, it intrigued me at first, but you know what? This is not remotely the direction I don't think we're interested in. Let me know if the comments, if you are. Again, this is, like I said, this whole poster idea is all of us together. Like we want to do this as a way that we're working on this project together. Obviously, I'm the one doing it, and I'm kind of the main architect and engineer behind it. But I want your guys' input. So throw that out there. I'm gonna throw him off the list, though. I get veto. That's kind of cool, but that's not us. I don't think that's us. Interesting. Remember who you're fighting for. I'm remembering. Oh my gosh. That's off the list, right? Yeah, if we don't know, we move on real quick. Oh my gosh. Coming to America. Oh my gosh, what a classic story. I love the fact how they're wearing plaid here. Such a classy McDonald's. Or not McDonald's, excuse me. What is it in Coming to America? McDowell's? Is that what it is? McDowell's? Oh my gosh. And of course, most classy movie posters these days. Some half naked woman. Can't forget that one. Really cool poster, but it's not our style, not the direction we're going, I don't think. So I'm going to take that one off the list. Cool. Not on our list. Yeah. I like the style, but not on the list. Goodbye. Wow. Super tech. Like the pose though. Could be something of value there. So this would be a really good example of, I like the pose, and so I would sketch that down as kind of an idea. So we'll keep that one there. Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, what's wrong? Why does this look good? What is happening? He's even on a unicorn. What in the world? What a goofball. I don't think so. Oh my gosh. Okay, seriously. I've never seen this movie. But when you got like, it has all the goofballs in it. All of them. Michelle Rodriguez, there she is. Her massive shotgun triple X. Jeez Louise. Out of control. Yeah. Okay. Lindsay Lohan. There we go. Clearly, this is a winner of a movie. There we go. But hey, I kind of like this though. This blood streak here. As much as we'll make fun of Steven Seagal, the sheriff, excuse me. I like the helicopters. There could be something there. Star Wars. The Fall of Skywalker. I mean, the Rise of Palpatine, I mean. Sad stories. That's off the list. Sorry, folks. I will say this. I do like kind of that silhouette thing. There could be something there, but we'll axe that one. This is definitely a zombie trope. Oh my gosh, constant zombies. Ton of like your zombie movies are doing this type of stuff. But yeah, goodbye. It's not a zombie comic. Interesting. What did I click on? See, this is one cool thing about, I'll say about, what do you call it? ArtStation is they have stuff like this where you get to see that some artists will share their entire process. Interesting composition. I don't think the direction we're going man. Whoa. I need my 3D glasses. Someone wearing 3D glasses right now? Put them on. Put on your 3D glasses. Tell me what you think. No, I don't think so. Again, half naked lady. Just dime a dozen. But now, this guy's smoking. What is he doing? Cool. Maybe. We'll sketch it down. See, some of these you'll just click on and you're like, yeah, goodbye. Mandalorian? Maybe, who knows? Okay. Oh, there's your Mad Mardigan. I don't want it to be just one character though. We want several characters in this thing. I'm gonna throw this one out. Whoa. What is going on here? I don't know. Don't waste a precious minute. Oh, okay. My precious. Okay, sure. I got it. Not wasting. I like the style of this. Really like the style. So that may be another thing. So that you'll hold on to some of these at just really cool styles. That's cool. Okay. Again, showing the whole process. I like, of course, that's this sort of thing is also in our cover. The red background though, instead of the gold though, but okay. We're already using that. I don't want to. Cool. But I don't think so. Don't think so. West Side Story. There you go. There's a lot to like about this. And it's a pretty good poster. That's really good design. Hold it there. Scary. I almost liked it better with just seeing the I'm covering up for my hand. I'm covering up his. You just have the feet, but that's gone. Such a weird movie. Have you guys seen this? It's such a weird movie. I don't even know it. And he gets replaced. Whatever. Spoiler alert. Just such a weird movie. We're gonna throw that one out though. Didn't fit. Oh, these are some of the ones I selected earlier. Yeah, interesting. Kind of a Japanese sort of a thing going on there. Kind of cool. Throw that one out. So true. Yes. Yes, it's so true. I don't know if that was on. Is this supposed to make fun of this movie or not? Yeah. Okay. Awesome poster. Good movie. Fantastic movie. Incredible movie. If you haven't seen it, you need to. Good flick. Young Guns. I don't know. There could be something. What is this? What was I doing? Oh my gosh. asked my kids, has anyone seen like man, I remember going to the movie, you'd go to Blockbuster movies and you'd spend like several hours perusing over like which movie to rent for that night. And it was a place to hang out. Oh my gosh. Yes, kids. Well, let's just rent it. And you're like, okay, I need to download it now. And you're like, oh man, the good old days. Yeah. They have chips and popcorn they would sell there too. Oh man, whatever happened to those days? What? Alien. What is this? Alien Resurrection? Is that what this is from? So silly. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm sorry. I lost track of it. I got too involved. Sorry. I lost track of the RoboCop. Sorry, I lost track of the thing. Wouldn't it be easier to get likeness is right for Kim Jong-un or Danny to read you? I don't know. I don't know. That's a good close call. I don't know. Am I going for more of a Western flavor? I don't know. You tell me. I kind of like this though. I kind of like what we have going on here. That's kind of cool. I like, there's something going on here that we could, there could be interesting stuff here. But that's part of the kind of the next process when you go into the designing phase. This is just kind of picking up pieces. You don't want to necessarily spend a whole lot of time. We're actually spending way too much time on this part of the process. It's kind of fun to hang out with you guys and do this. But there's something about it could do something like that. We'll see. You're just gaining ideas and looking at other artists and that sort of. Some artists are like, don't even do this. I can't even. You just don't even go down that path. This is really cool, but we're not going avant-garde. So, yeah. True lies. Oh my gosh. Yeah, true lies. There you go. I like the flag idea. That's kind of cool. Could be. There you go. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's a scary movie, man. We're getting that one out of here. Dawn of the Dead. It's a cool looking comic book thing. It doesn't fit with our overall direction, I don't think. Oh man, that's beautiful. That's a good looking. So they haven't seen Apocalypse Now. I think the original has like a sunset with a head, and that one's really cool. Goes into like napalm and all types of stuff. Really crazy, crazy movie. Sort of like a see it once and you're good, but it's a crazy, crazy good movie. But yeah, that's beautiful. So these are like these little highlights right here. That's where like your Photoshop FX stuff really comes in. This stuff right here. Bam, bam, big time. A little bit right there, a little bit right there. Yeah. And all this sort of stuff would be like I'd consider that FX stuff, but this is really those highlights. The neon splash. It's kind of cool. I'm going to save that one just because that's inspiring. I don't know if I like this poster per se. I don't know. I like this silhouette idea. I did bring that up earlier, didn't I? I do like this silhouette idea. There's something to be there. Ooh, Annihilation. This is pretty cool too. I do like, I keep coming back to it. You can kind of see that. This sort of, where we have it actually on our cover and all that sort of stuff. Awesome, man. Thank you. Way cool. Means a lot. And throw in your 2 cents too. Again, we're doing this together and trying to figure out how to do this together. Really, but no, absolutely. Appreciate it. But No, this is a really cool poster. Have you guys seen Annihilation? I actually like the movie. Some people are like, oh, it's too weird. I don't know. I kind of liked it. I do like this right here. That's really cool. And I do like this beam of light sort of thing, which is, yeah, it's on our cover. Can't help it. I don't know. This is really cool. I think there's a lot of composition stuff going on here that we could do. Lots to learn there. Okay, moving on. I do like this artist. I think that's why I clicked on this one. I like this artist, which I'll kind of show you. That's kind of another thing I'll do sometimes. I try not, with this type of process, I try not to spend more than an hour doing this. This is just, again, this is not for everybody. And some artists will tell you, yeah, start from a scratch piece of paper and go after it. I look of all things. It's kind of my approach. I do. Oh, you can kind of see a face in here too. That's interesting. Sunglasses. Oh, that's Woody Harrelson's character. Man, that's sneaky. Can barely see that. See that right there? Sunglasses. That's Woody Harrelson's character. Interesting. Way cool. Do you come back and do this again in your project? What do you mean, like in later on in the project? Not generally. I mean, you might look at a few things in terms of trying to figure out color schemes and those types of things and lighting. But is that what you're talking about? You have to throw Lord of the Rings in there, right? Anything Lord of the Rings. That's a cool poster. See, I really do like this artist, this Raz. Yeah, but their Batman one. Ooh, what a classic movie. So that, yeah. The thing about it is, and I guess my whole point is that you want to be, you're like, oh, that wasn't just a good movie. I'm just, obviously I'm hanging out with you guys, but you want to be with this entire process. You want to be as directed and again, setting limits or perimeters really does help this. Like I said, 20 or so posters. This is a fantastic poster. Awesome composition. Whoever did this really worked at it. Yeah. Again, there he is. Roz. He did it. Clearly, I like this artist. And there he is. So one of the things that you'll do after you kind of, and I did have this artist up too. He did a lot of the Stranger Things and all that type of posters. I do want to look at Total Recall. Such a fun movie. So yeah, okay. So generally what I'll do is after that kind of that first run through, I'll get rid of a bunch of them and then I'll go back through again. And then by this point, I'm already like, okay, that's out the door. I don't even know why I looked at that. I do want to hold on that one because that was a cool face. I can draw that and that can help get that. Yeah, so just how much time do I spend on a concept searching? Again, I don't want to spend too much time in terms of an hour because I do want to absorb my own ideas, which is a huge part of it. But I do want to capture things that intrigue me. Again, this is one way to try to get the juices flowing, sort of a thing. So that's, again, roughly about an hour. And then I will, from those references, I will ultimately take and put them into Photoshop, which will then make our blue penciled section. So I like that pose. It's just cool, and it might not go anywhere. The only thing here, and this is where you start really being critical about the piece. I think there could be something with some sort of thing here, and you can kind of see there's some sort of similar sort of pattern here, but I don't know if there's anything else here worth keeping. This makes me think of Darth Vader sort of thing. One of the things is you start picking up on patterns in terms of what's being used and what isn't being used and where you can ultimately expand beyond this. Because this is, obviously, it's really good art, but you want to do it. And again, this is sort of a silhouette thing masked in with tattoos. You can see his tattoos here. And so that's kind of a cool idea. behind it, except he's got an elbow of a boob. I don't know. It's a little weird. I don't know if there's much to gain from this one. If I don't know, I'll quickly move on. Yeah, there's nothing here. I'm just not feeling it. Not feeling it. Not feeling it. I don't know. What do you guys think about this circle? Yes. So, kind of the big plan that we're working on right now is that our first, this is a entire series, and there's kind of several ways that we want to split this up. So one of the ways that we're planning on doing currently right now is where we will take this work that we're doing right now with the last colony, and this is part 1 of the entire series. And what we really want to do is get this wrapped up. You get the comic book, all that type of stuff after crowdfunding it. And that would happen in the end of August, which is kind of the time frame that you get it in your hands. And we'll be able to, again, depends on how long the printing takes. Once we hit that July, once the crowdfunding ends in July 6th, 5th, can't remember my date, it'll go from print from there. Depends on how long the printer takes. We do have a really good setup with one, so we should be good there. That end of August. Again, I can't give an exact date yet, but in any case, that's when we'd communicate with you throughout, obviously. And then from there, we would then go into the 4th quarter of this year and wrap up the whole. So I have the whole story written. I don't have all the artwork done for the whole story, but the whole story is written. And we would do that second part of that, third part, the whole graphic novel, the whole thing. Now, one idea is that we would actually break it up into one where you could, if you like the graphic novel, which I know a lot of the kids these days, they love the graphic novel books. Now, the older guys like me, we like the floppy. So we kind of thought of making it as 2 different rewards or perks, if you will, within the crowdfund. So that's kind of the idea, if that makes sense. But yes, this will ultimately be a series. Sorry, that was a really long explanation, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do like the circle of this one too. I do too. I really like the circle. Could all of them on that. I like the style. We have more pictures of that style. Of course, it doesn't. I don't know. We already sort of have that. If you can see behind me, yeah, move out of the way. Where is she? By the bush by Gary. Is that Gregory? That the bush names is Gregory. You can see there she is, Gwen, right there. So we kind of already have that. So I don't necessarily think we need to go that direction. It's cool though. Doesn't fit. Cool poster. Like the flag thing. We want to hold on to that. Amazing painting. Doesn't fit with us though. Could fit with the background though, maybe. I don't know. Just kind of some sort of blowing up sort of thing. I don't know. I do like this silhouette thing. There could be something to hold on to. Do like that one a lot. Throw that one out. I think this one, there's just a lot to learn. You can spend an entire class on this one. Which one was cool? Sorry. Which one did you really like? Lucy, if I'm saying your name right, hopefully. Which one did you like? Was it this one, Kill Bill? Or was it another one? I went way too fast. Sorry. Was it the Annihilation one? Kind of cool. I just like his work. So we're going to toss those out, but there's could be a lot to learn from this. Yeah, I'm going way too fast. But again, you just use these as a way to grow and expand and kind of think about a few things differently. So really that's the research stage. That's really about it. And then kind of the next thing that you go about doing, I can show a little bit, spend a little, maybe about 15 more minutes here on the live stream. Let me bring up. So I'll basically have this on my screen, and then I will change our screens here. There we go. Okay. So one of the things that I'll do, and this will actually look a little, I just have to move a little bit, but one of the things that I will do is that I will is it there? It's like a weird mirror. How do we do this? You have to look at it this way. You guys will. I won't. You guys will have to. Oh my gosh, now it's blurry. The thing. Yes, the Indiana Jones. Absolutely. Yeah, there's so clearly, like you look at these and the type of, you can really start seeing the type of influence. But basically what I'll end up doing, if I get unblurry here, holy moly, what's happening? Oh, this might not work. We good? Whew. So basically what I do is at this stage, you don't even necessarily know where you're going. And sometimes what you can do is, if it helps, you can put all that stuff on there, draw your squares, your thumbnail sketches, that type of thing. You don't necessarily have to, but you're not necessarily, how do I say it? You're not worried about the lines, if you will. You're just getting down you're not worried about the form and having a perfect face or everything nice and neat. You're just trying to get the basic stuff down, because maybe in these types of sketches or those types of things, you might be able to, there feels like something needs to be over here. And again, I don't necessarily even know. And you're just drawing shapes. And from those shapes, you can kind of, grow from there. Because they might intrigue or spark something else. And I think that's kind of already done. So one of you guys had said, I really like that circle thing. So that could be a really good idea too, where you're just, again, I'm serious here. There's no necessarily form or what's a gun, or these are just, I like starting out as really crazy scribbles. This almost annihilation one, even though I'm not looking at it. I'm looking at the machete one, actually. Any more of those weird blood stains? No, I really appreciate it. No, it's really cool. That's what this whole thing, that's why I'm wanting it to do it this way. So that, again, that's the thing about this, is that there's a lot that isn't taught in necessarily art schools. I know I'm doing this weird, but there isn't a lot taught in art schools that, as far as like what we're using, that sort of thing. Right now, I'm just using, if I can get my camera right, I'm just using a ballpoint pen. As far as other things, and right now it's just the beginning stage. This is just, I don't know, printer paper, and it's not extra nice paper or anything like that. And that's just what I use at this design stage. And then what I do from here, like I said, is I use Photoshop as far as getting everything, because one of the nice things about Photoshop is that, well, I need to move this character, and I can just, you can cut this character out and move them down, move them left, move them right, move them all around, and blow them up, make them smaller, whatever, all that type of stuff. So I can do that sort of stuff really quickly in Photoshop. And so that's a lot of where I'll do a lot of the legwork of the design stuff. This is just really just like I said before, obviously your concept stages, right? And then after that, when you go to in Photoshop, and maybe I should do that too, right? That would be a really good actually blog post on my website, where I would do something as far as like showing how to change your color levels. I'm using the wrong term. Your hue and saturation. There we go. You change your hue and saturation so that it's basically you can change instead of black pencil, which is what you use to draw it, you can make it all blue so that when you go to print it off or that type of thing. Once I go to print it, I'll print it on some sort of Bristol paper. I don't have that out, so I'll show that along the process. So because we'll do this type of thing every Thursday all the way through the end of the crowdfund. So these next month and a half thereabouts. From that, what I ink with, I can show you that here right now because I have those right here. I use Copic markers. I have used or Copic pens, technical pens. I like these right now. They have I just like the feel of them right now. And it's changed. In the past, I've used Micron. They work too. Really, as far as utensils go, it really comes down to personal preference and experience. At the same time, do you need these to make really cool artwork or really cool comics? Not necessarily. I don't know. I'm kind of a weird snob, and from that standpoint, again, a Copic. This is like your brush type of a thing, and they do kind of cool lines depending on how fast you go. They also have a really nice point, so you can get a really good, and that's one of the things with like your line work. We're kind of going down a rabbit hole, but that's okay. It's good. No, appreciate it. But you can create line variations, which is really important to have too. So that's one thing that's really nice about this particular pen. I have a fancy one of these. That's just a eraser. More of that pen. There we go. I do use this quite a bit too. It just, again, a different, depends on what you're doing, or if you're just trying to black in the section. And that's another thing in this sort of process too. You can, because again, you're not worried about, you're just trying to figure out this stage in the design stage, this very beginning parts of the design stage, you're just blocking it in. Like so. I mean, you're not, you're just thinking about really just composition at this point, which is why you're not necessarily worried about form per se. But that's kind of interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I'll show. Yeah, I'll show the entire process where you'll see the Wacom tablets, all that sort of stuff. Oh yeah, the microns are awesome. This is a. Can you? This point, I like taking notes with this one. It's so flawless. I like doing my small notes in that one. You get to work on my what do you call it, lettering. But yeah, that's basically what I do. And then from there, I'll do some of my coloring. I've done watercolors in the past. I'm still doing a little bit of watercolors, but yeah. No, absolutely. Thank you, Braden. No, I'll definitely on my blog. With this, what I want to really do with this, and this again part of that invitation why I mentioned the blog at the beginning of the live stream, that I want to do not only show you this entire process, but invite you guys to be a part of that entire process. But no, absolutely. I'm gonna write a note down right now, so I remember. List of tools. So yeah, absolutely. And we'll put that in there for the blog. And we also do Oh, I do a morning live stream. We talk about different things, and here's the thing: where I might get a little more wild on that one, um, in terms of showcasing my opinions. But my big belief is that, hey, we're all here figuring this out. With the idea that we love each other and we want to encourage each other and see each other do amazing things and grow in absolutely amazing ways, regardless of our color, creed, and whatever's in between. See, I'm throwing my hands all over the place. I'm gonna wreck my camera. Oh yeah, that was that. I'm now looking at that circle Mandalorian one. See if I can draw sideways. Because again, your whole thing right now is really just to, you're just trying to figure out the composition. Maybe there would be some way of almost sort of Japanese. Yeah. See, again, I'm just like a step bit. Remember those Weebles? Did anyone have Weebles as a kid? Oh my gosh, Weebles. Yeah, you're drawing Weeble people. It's okay. There's a total of 5 main characters. And that's the thing we could, and this is kind of the stage where I'm writing down. So I got Jamie, we have Gwen, we got Cobb, we got Abram, Captain. I haven't shared his name yet. So these are kind of your 5 main, and then you have the chopper. Get to the chopper. Chopper, helicopter. So that would be a prop. So you would also, in your design stage, you're also writing down kind of everything. And again, this is designed to be. There's no. I don't know. This is your sketch pad. That's all this is. That's all you're doing it for. I always get, when I do it in a book, I always get frustrated with the crease because it's like folded over and half your I want to use this side of the paper right here. What else you got? Could be a horse. May axe that. Riding on horseback or that type of thing that they have later on. What else can we do? We have general in here. Main bad guy. I haven't shared that photo with you guys. I haven't shared that illustration with you guys. Right with him. Main bad guy. Dun, dun, dun. The protagonist. These would be our antagonists. I think that's really about it. So we could. I keep coming back to that. It's such was a really cool thing with Annihilation. And maybe, I don't know, because we already have this where the copter's in the bottom there. We could do these types of things up here too, or they could be in here, and maybe this would be bigger, and it could have. I don't know. See, this is what you're doing at this stage. This is what you're doing at this stage. You're just kind of playing with it. You're not, and you can use markers too. Like I've heard comic artists, they'll go to school or that sort of thing, which isn't necessarily needed in my opinion. But you're finding some way to stay educated, and you're growing. And you're always changing, and those types of things. One thing is you're always looking at artists. You pick like your top few main artists that you're really, really into. And you use them as kind of that guide because art school will do a woo, woo, you're exploring. It's great. Yay. And all you can get is really exploring. But your artists, your really good ones, they're like right up here. You're like, how do I get up there? And you start realizing, you start following what they're doing. And basically you start realizing, oh my gosh, they've built a path right to there. And you start implementing things that they're doing. which is why we're looking at these types of artwork. And then I know my scribbles are terrible. And then you look at my final artwork and it's like, wow, it's fun. It's fun. But I'm pitching myself. I don't like bragging about it, but I'm not so stupid. I need to shut up. Because we want to be humble. We want to be humble for each other. And again, I want to see others grow. I want to see others do more crazy stuff than me. Let's see here. So then you basically go up the top and they've already made a path for you, which is really, really cool. And then from there, you start realizing that they have a plateau and there's a much bigger mountain to climb up to ultimately. So that is side note. Let's see here. I wanted to do, oh, maybe there's some way, that circle again. I don't know. Again, you're not worried about, maybe it's a giant head here. And then maybe you have 3 individuals here. I don't know. Helicopters flying above. Yeah, it's kind of cool. So it's a little different. And basically what you're just trying to do with each one of these design things is you're just trying to, again, you're doing the same thing that you did earlier when you're in your research. You're not making any kind of massive decisions at this point. You're just kind of going, next step and that sort of thing. Let's do this silhouette thing. So we could do a silhouette with the head. I don't know why it keeps going that way. Just go with it for right now. And then in here, maybe in the shoulders, you have Abram, Cobb, and Jamie right here. Maybe there's something there. And then we have another character facing the other way. I don't know. That one of the things that they kind of did from Machete in that silhouette, hair flowing, you get feathers. Now, one thing that I would say when you're designing, even though I might be doing as kind of a thumbnail or that type of a thing, don't worry about staying within these borders. As you go along and like your panel designs and those types of things, so it really helps to avoid tangents. And basically a tangent, if you don't know, is where you have a form in this right here, and this is one panel, and then you have another panel that these lines actually connect. And so even though these are two different, this could be like a horse. Here's my horse. Even though these are two different horses or whatever, who knows? You got a horse and a group. It's too much of a distraction, so you need to move some stuff around. So anyway, that's just a basic tangent. So drawing outside of the lines will do two things. It'll help out with the tangents, and then it also help and make sure that your forms are correct. But I'm going to do one more real quick, and then I'll wrap this up. What are we doing here? Let's do the apocalypse one. Back to that. Wonder if I turn it the other way. It's almost like makes me think of Hugh Savage. You have people. Again, this is how I do it. There's no necessary rhyme or reason to it. I'm just trying to really figure out the form. I'm not with the scribbles. I don't have to stay with anything per se. I can based off the. So what I'll do is I'll go through this, and I'll, like I said from the other one there too, is I'll kind of block these in, and Again, you're just trying to figure out your really basic composition of your dark and your black and your white, and just trying to figure out where your spaces are. So in terms of like your if you're having symmetrical or asymmetrical sort of design as well, in terms of cutting it in half. So those are some of the things that you can do. First and foremost, before we take off, again, thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me during this live stream. Really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. Love your questions, your enthusiasm. Really appreciate it. And I just want to invite you to the website, Patreon, no E in the patron, but patron.elijahloving.com/The Last Colony. There you'll be able to back the pick your reward of whatever it is, 30 all the way up. And then if you're like, I just don't have enough, there's a $5 reward too, just to give to the project. Anyone that puts their name on this project will go in the comic book as a thank you. We'll have a thank you page for that. And then the other thing is that you can also put in your own amount, whatever amount works best for you. We will still send you whatever up to a level. We'll still want to send you those comic books as well. So that will happen as long as you're in that 30 above range. That being said, it's so important these days, and I can't say it enough. Even if, let's say, for example, you're not supporting me today, which, you know what, it is what it is. But the important thing is that we find ways to directly support artists. I can't say it enough. We have to do that. We have to change our mindset to get off the big box chains and all those sort of things and help out the little guy. And it's so incredibly important to do. So just want to invite you to that. Check out the website, pick your reward, and then, like I said, here in a month's time or there or so, we'll be ending our crowdfund and then off and sending that to print. We'll meet again next Thursday and at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And then from there, I'll go a little bit more in detail. We'll spend a little bit more time on this. I'm going to move this along where I'll show a little bit more of the design process and kind of my problem solving process, what I went through, and then get your guys' input as well. And then from there, absolutely. So you can donate more than once. As you know, you can do it as much as you financially can do it. Like I said, there's no limit whatsoever in terms of if you want to do that. You can change the quantity when you go to the checkout area, so you can do that if you want to. But you can also, if you come back, you get maybe a month from now, you get another little bit of funds, you can throw in some more too. So there's no sort of set limit. You can only contribute once. I think that's it. Trying to think anything else that I wanted to cover with you guys. I think that's it. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out as long as you have. Again, thanks for taking the time to hang out with me this hour and a half. And we'll see you next Thursday again with progress on this project that we have here. And then, of course, I'll talk a little bit more of the progress of the overall comic book and where we are with that and keep you in the loop. And then we'll go from there. Hope you guys have an excellent Wednesday. Thank God it's Friday tomorrow. Hallelujah. And then we will see you guys later. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.